Cara from Flamingo Physio, and welcome to the second video in my Flamingo FIT knee series. Now this video is ideal for anyone who has occasional knee pain and wants to strengthen their knees in a safe and effective way. If you have more constant pain, please check out the first video in my series or the third video for those who feel the exercises today are too easy. I'd be very grateful if you could click the buttons below saying you like this video and to subscribe for more videos coming soon covering the whole body. So let's begin today with some exercises in lying, and then we're going to see about some in standing. Right, so we're going to start today on the floor, and you can do these on the floor, a sofa, a bed, whatever is easiest for you. But you must be able to lie out completely flat and have your legs out straight. So I'm going to be lying down. So lying out flat, you want the leg that you're going to be worked lying straight and the opposite one bent up. Do not arch your back. Keep your tummy muscles tense for this one because we're progressing things. So I want you to imagine that I'm about to punch you in the tummy, so you're going to tense your tummy muscles, and top that, you need a wee at the same time. So hold your pelvic floor muscles. Great. Now tense your thigh muscle, as we learnt in the first video. So tummy and thigh, and just lift the leg up into the air, just a little bit. So a bit of a warm up. Up and down, nice and slowly, a few times. Great. And then if you've got time, do the other leg. Now for this video, we're going to make things a little harder. We're going to work your hip muscles a little bit more, as well as the knee muscles. So this time, I want you to keep tensing your thigh and your tummy and lift your leg up into the air. Just do a little circle. Lovely. Anything goes, doesn't matter which way. Try not to let the opposite knee move around too much as you're doing it. And relax down. So tense your thigh, tense your tummy muscles like you're going to be punched, and your pelvic floor, and lift up and a little circle and back down. Now to make this a little bit more fun, why not try writing a word when you're in the air? So lifting your leg, keep your leg nice and straight, and let's try the word fit. Seems very apt. Lovely. And back down. Now, who can manage the word flamingo? Tense your tummy, your pelvic floor, your thigh, lifting up. Lovely. Bit of concentration for this one. Brilliant. Now, who could manage the word supercalifragilisticexpialidocious? That is a joke, but you get the idea. If you feel you want to challenge yourself a bit more, then try a little bit more in one go. Set a word. It's a great way of seeing how you're progressing as time goes on. Key messages: don't let your back arch as you're doing it. Tense your tummy muscles and your pelvic floor and your thigh, and keep that leg out straight as you're writing a word. Enjoy. Right. Now, whilst we're lying down, it would be absolutely foolish of me to not include some more focused hip strengthening exercises. So let's do just that. Hip, hip, hooray! Get it? Sorry. So this is the same as in the first video. So it's imperative that we have strong hip muscles to maintain knee stability for everyday life, when you're walking, stepping up, anything like that. And I'm a massive fan of this sideline glute strengthener. So if you have done it in the first exercise, you'll know what you're doing. I'm going to include just a little bit of a progression at the end, but in essence, you'll notice that this video stays the same because it is so good for you. So lying on your side, and it's the top side that's going to be worked. Legs are together, knees are bent to about 90 degrees, and hips are bent less than 90 degrees. So you keep your feet together, you then lift that top knee up into the air as high as you can, but do not let your bottom roll backwards, okay? I'm going to reiterate this. So it's not a bottom roll to lift your leg, It is simply a knee lift, making the smaller gluteal muscles work really, really effectively. It makes me a very, very happy physio to do this. So you want to keep lifting and lowering that top knee, feeling the muscles work in the outer thigh. Keep going until you can't do it anymore, until you're fatigued. That's the aim of the game. When you've done enough, have a rest, have a walk around even, a couple of minutes later, 2-3 minutes later, come back and do some more. Now, to make it ever so slightly harder, you have to be fairly controlled with this one, but you can have your top leg out straight and then lift it up and down into the air. Now, as it's now a long lever, a long leg, it will put more pressure on the hip. So just go a little bit easier with this one. You want to be aware of changing your toe position, so you can have your toe pointing up to the ceiling or slightly down towards the floor, because it changes the muscle groups that are working. And it's only a little movement with this one. So up and down and see what works for you. Lovely. Again, reach fatigue and have a rest. If you could do these every other day, every day, a couple of times a week, that would be amazing. Obviously, don't have your head propped up as you do it. Lie down on your pillow. Okay, now we're going to start some exercises in standing. Yay! And we're going to start with a small, safe squat. So I want you to stand with your feet about hip width apart and your toes pointing outwards ever so slightly. And then, having said that, I want you to know it's absolutely fine to change both of these if they help reduce your knee pain as you actually squat. So you can have your toes pointing a lot further out or more straight, ideally not inwards, and you can have your feet slightly wider or slightly narrower. Now the important part, sorry, I mean the absolutely vital lesson you need to remember is do not let your knees move inwards as you squat down. Ideally, you want to keep them parallel as you squat, or even going out a bit is absolutely fine. So if you let them come inwards during an exercise session, you can actually be reinforcing quite a negative habit and strengthening your knees and your hips into a poor movement. So don't do it. Now, as you squat, make sure you're comfortable. You don't have to go very far. You can have your hands on your hips or out in front of you. It doesn't matter. It's whatever feels more balanced for you. Now I want you to have a think about what your knee is actually doing as you do it. So as you squat down, does your knee move forwards over your toes? Or does your knee stay relatively still and your bottom is moving out backwards? Either one is absolutely fine, but it's worth working out which one you tend to do, and obviously, as you're learning, mix things up. So when your knee does move forwards over your toes to squat down, you can actually put a little bit more pressure on the front of the knee. So if you have a front knee pain, it may be worth not letting the knee move forwards and doing more of a squat where your bottom sticks out a bit more, like you want to sit down on a seat, but it's just a little bit too far away from you, so you have to stick your bottom out a bit more. Great. Now I want you to try as many as you feel able to do. Remember, this is a progression, so don't do so many that you then aggravate your knees. Try every day, every other day, twice a week. It's whatever works for you and your knees and everything else that you're doing in your life at the same time. So if you're having an active week, then try not to do so many of these. Now, just as a little note, if you find that you can actually squat down a little further, but as you do that, you notice that your feet have to turn out a little bit more to achieve a lower squat, there may be a little tightness in your ankle or in your calf muscle. Now, by continuing to squat and practice, you may improve it. So keep going. But if it's not improving and you're noticing that it is turning out as you squat down. So as you squat, your feet turn, then it may be worth just getting some one-to-one advice to see what the actual problem is and correcting it. So, key messages again, parallel knees. Do not let them come in as you squat down. Don't do it. You can try 2 different types of squats. So you can do one where your knees come further forwards, and you can do one where your bottom moves further backwards. Try both, see what works for you and your knees. Okay, so if the squat felt okay, then let's try a lunge step. So this is in essence a longer step than normal, and then dropping the back knee towards the floor. And as with the squat technique, do not let your knees move inwards like so. I don't even want you to practice doing it, it's that bad. So as you take the step forwards, do not let your knee move inwards as you do that. It's an idea with this one to use a mirror in front of you to initially help see what you're doing so that you become aware of it. Now, if you can, a great trick is to aim your knee for the middle of your toes. It gives you a bit of a guide, a bit of a line to aim for. The next most important advice is that it's okay, just like with the squat, to move your knee forwards over your toes when you lunge, or to take a step forwards and not let the knee move forwards, just let the back knee drop down. Now, either is fine. It doesn't matter which one you do, but it is probably more unusual to not let the knee move forwards. So as we're aiming to progress your strengthening, try not to let your knee move forwards and just drop the back leg down. So hands on your hips or out in front of you. You can even hold a kitchen counter for this one. If you feel a little unbalanced, that's absolutely fine. But when you feel able, please take your hands off. So arms out if you need to. So stepping forwards and then dropping back down. Now, as we're progressing things in this video, it's an ideal idea to try 5 or 8 on each side and see how it feels. If that feels fine, doing one and then ideally the other leg, then why not walk continually? So take a step and drop down, and then another step and drop down, and keep going. So it's continual movement. That will really work the muscles in the leg. Try as far as you can. If you've got a distance between your kitchen and your toilet, something like that, try it then. So it's stability. Key messages again, take a step forwards, the back knee drops down. You don't have to drop it very much at the moment. We progress on to that in the next video. Do not let your knee go inwards, just do not do it. So aim towards the middle of your foot. And as it's more unusual, take a step, let the back knee drop and try not to let that front knee move forwards. If it does, that's absolutely fine, but just try something different. Right, now it's time for some knee range of movement boosting exercises. And it's really simple, it's walking backwards. It's as simple as that. It's incredibly effective at improving the straightening of the knee extension, and it improves mobility fairly effectively. So to target more muscle, let's move really, really slowly. So take a step backwards, lovely, really straighten it and step. Now, try the same, but this time bend your knees high up like you're trying to kick your bottom before you step backwards. Great, super slowly. Now, if you feel safe and you don't need to hold on, then keep going. So walking backwards, nice long step, if it feels okay on your knee, is a really simple and effective exercise to improve the movement in it, especially the straightness of the knee. If you have tight calf muscles, you might need to just take a little bit of a smaller step, but try and get that knee to straighten as you step. Easy. And finally, you may have twigged with the company name of Flamingo Physio and Flamingo FIT, fitness, that I'm a huge fan of challenging your balance. So let's get Flamingo FIT balanced. Now, I want you to try both legs for 30 seconds or so and see how your balance is doing today. So it can actually vary on a day-to-day basis. Ooh. As you can see, I'm a little bit wobbly on my right leg today. So challenge it first of all, kind of just to warm yourself up. Now, if that doesn't throw up any major problems, then let's progress. And we're going to work on some dynamic balance, i.e. balance as you're moving, which we actually do anytime that we're stood up and we're moving. If you think about it, every step that you take, your body is working on your balance system to stop you falling over. So, on one leg, can you go up onto your tiptoes? Just a little bit, it doesn't have to be very much. Keep going up and down repeatedly. Ooh, bit wobbly. Try on both legs, see how it feels. You can have a fingertip touch if you need it, that's absolutely fine. You could try going back onto your heel. Whoop, that's a bit more wobbly. You need to practice to improve. If you can, stand on one leg and move one leg, the other leg, a little bit further away from your body. See how that feels. Remember to listen to what the knee is feeling as you're actually doing it, because it does put quite a bit of pressure on it by challenging it, but see how you get on. So what I'm saying now is challenge yourself a bit more. Get that leg moving, try some heel, try some toes. See how you get on. Well done. And that's it. So that's the knee level 2. If you found these too easy, then please check out the 3rd video in the knee series. And if you're interested in how you can improve your knee whilst you're living your life as it is, check out my website, www.flamingophysio.co.uk, for my week-long online hip and knee courses. Bye!